Hidden below the city chambers on Edinburgh's famous Royal Mile stretches one of the most legendary streets in the world, Mary King's Close. In this video, you'll have the rare opportunity to see inside the subterranean habitat where real people lived, worked, and tragically died. In Scotland's ancient capital of Edinburgh, closes are streets often named for their most notable residents. Born in the latter part of the 16th century, Mary King was a successful businesswoman, property holder, and widow. Her husband, Thomas Nemo, passed away before she arrived on the close with her 4 children, whom she raised on her own.
There was another reason why I was such a prominent figure. I held the title of Burgess, which meant I had voting rights in the city, quite unusual for a woman of that era.
Before it was consumed by the buildings now standing atop it, people of all walks of life, from doctors to tanners, lived on what was once Edinburgh's second widest street, in buildings rising up to 7 stories. The Close may be most famous for its dark past and numerous legends. Edinburgh's last large-scale outbreak of the foul pestilence, or plague, began in 1645, and many on Mary King's and surrounding closes fell victim to it, such as the gravedigger John Craig's family, depicted here. The bubonic plague caused flu-like symptoms, followed by the development of painful boils on the neck, armpits, or groin, while the more deadly pneumonic plague affected the lungs and led to hemorrhaging, which turned the victim's body black. The latter form was known as the Black Death. Those fortunate enough to receive treatment were met by intimidatingly dressed healers like Dr. George Ray, Edinburgh's official plague doctor, seen here. Donning the guise of a holy raven to scare away the evil spirits, or miasmas believed to cause the deadly disease, their skin was covered and their masks' beaks filled with herbs to provide further protection. Some victims were covered in quarantine tents like this one, and according to some, the spirits of the unfortunate who passed away may haunt Mary King's and surrounding closes to this day. The rooms off Allen's Close are some of the best preserved portions of the system of underground streets which include Mary King's. One of these rooms is dominated by an eerie yet heartwarming pile of children's toys, which accumulated after Japanese medium Aiko Gibo offered a doll to the spirit of a young girl she believed resided in the room. Gibo intuited that the girl, whom she called Annie, suffered from the plague and was abandoned by her parents. Gibo further believed that the girl was upset after having lost her favorite doll. In 2019, the tartan-wearing Barbie Gibo bought to comfort Annie mysteriously disappeared. Was it stolen by a selfish human? Or did Annie move on and take her beloved doll with her? Mary King's Close itself has its share of ghost stories as well. According to a 17th century account published by Professor George Sinclair of Glasgow University, lawyer Thomas Coulthart and his family, who moved in after the last outbreak of the plague, were tormented by a range of apparitions over the course of one night. The first was a man's floating head, then a ghostly child, followed by a disembodied arm motioning for them, a phantom dog, then cat, and even a gaggle of dancing ghouls. The story goes that just as suddenly as they appeared, the spirits vanished, never to be seen again. But shortly thereafter, Thomas passed away, and his friend claimed to have been visited by his spirit in a vision. More recent ghost stories from the Close include sightings of a woman in black, maybe King herself, and a man pacing the Close worriedly, possibly the Close's final resident, Andrew Chesney, depicted here active in his occupation as a sawmaker. Perhaps only his ghost knows who made the saw to make the hammer with which Chesney made his saws. In the 18th century, an indoor marketplace called the Royal Exchange was erected over Mary King's Close and the surrounding area. The tops of the Close's buildings were removed, the street narrowed, and much of the other closes filled in. In the early part of the 19th century, the Royal Exchange became the city chambers. Some businesses remained in what was left of Mary King's Close until the Chesneys were bought out and finally vacated in the early 20th century. During World War II, the Close was used as an air raid shelter, and in 2003, it became the historic attraction we know today, the real Mary King's Close. I want to end this video by expressing how grateful I am to Patricia and everyone at the Real Mary King's Close who made this video possible. They were an excellent source of information, and it's not every day that I'm granted special permission to film inside a historic site. If you've stuck with me to the end, thank you for watching, and I hope this video inspires you to experience the Real Mary King's Close for yourself.